Thanks be to the Emperor, you are alive, your ladyship. We are most gratified by your return, and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you have.
Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's sun. The Vox Master falters.
Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approaching the sun. Black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star, and then... My apologies, but I struggle to find the words that would describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void.
The interrogator closes his eyes and grimaces. Drukhari. You see Abelard's expression change as if a shadow has suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temples wearily, as if we did not have enough trouble on our hands already. The Xenos, enemies of humanity? Henrix nods. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Drukhari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect. And many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of the sun is one example of what they are capable of. Are the Xenos in league with Aurora's cultists? We can rule out that possibility. The Drukhari would never ally themselves with the archenemy's worshippers. Yeah, their whole society is kind of based around not falling prey to one of the Chaos Gods, you know? If I had to name one thing that humanity and these Xenos have in common, it would be a shared loathing for warp corruption. Henrix glances around. The situation calls for immediate action, Ophelia. We can continue this conversation later if you so wish, but right now, he gestures to the deck teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. What is the current situation on board?
The Navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engine seers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump.
Pascal's voice buzzes anxiously from his Vox. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of this vessel. Why did you not send a shuttle to the planet for me?
I do apologize, Your Ladyship, but we were unable to receive your request for evacuation. The Vox link was overrun with vile interference, screams, blasphemous hymns, and other equally sinister noises. Any who listened to the interference for a protracted period lost their sanity. Several dozen operators went mad monitoring the Voxcaster in hope of hearing your voice. Each one of them waited in vain.
What is happening on the planet now?
Our Auga operators are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the Governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles.
It's time for some exterminatus, is what I'm hearing. Do we have any hope of retaking the planet?
I fear that Rykard Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and are worthy of rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, we also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport.
The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and the followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all of our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hopes of salvation. The lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the electro-priests who guard and tend to it. Abelard furrows his brow. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we are putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Rykard Minoris. The Van Valenius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so, lamentable though as it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Henrik's eyes, like two deep, dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge towards death, the finale of the Cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that had surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down to those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving themselves over to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombings of the Electro-Priest's monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. Harry, please do not unplug the microphone. A thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate. Oh god, no. Okay. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we'll save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death, and we'll save Rykard Minoris from becoming an outpost of the archenemy. Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it even from orbit. As do I see the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows ever more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking, we need to get out of here while we still can. Something lurking in the depths of your consciousness bristles at the passing thought of saving people. The spike of horror you feel takes your breath away. It is as if you are planning to steal the prey of a mighty predator. The planet is already warped and is wrapped in a thread stretching out from the warp. It deserves to have a new master. Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate?
The nobles you rescued at the starport have given the coordinates of shelters where we can find surviving aristocrats and their families. As for Sergeant Malger's troops, they will help to control the crowds of frightened commoners and prevent the shuttles from being overloaded. Thanks to you, we've salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can now use.
Look, fuck the nobles, eat the rich, have the pilots extract all of the commoners who have not yet converted to the Cult of the Final Dawn. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself, Ophelia. If you can indulge your vanity, you will doom billions to eternal torment at the hands of the archenemy. I must do as I see fit. Perhaps I am acting foolishly in the Inquisition's eyes, but that is my decision to make. You detect a flicker of something beneath Henrik's sanguine mask. Anger, bitterness, whatever it may be, it does not seep into the interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the archenemy could infiltrate the ship along with any rescued people. Keep that in mind for the future.
Consider it done. It is likely our shuttles will have the capacity to evacuate more people.
The miraculous fusion reactor must be saved. Could we perhaps rip the building out?
Consider it done. This will bring us to the limit of our capabilities. We have no more shuttles to use in the evacuation effort.
The bridge is in upheaval. The technoman's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony, while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all this tumult stands Pascal, with the data slate clutched in his hands, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him.
You blasted cog!
Crew, heed the word of Magus Hanemon. Pascal, I request that you take charge of this mess. Thank you, your ladyship. You are right. Pascal's voice changes when he addresses the crew. He now speaks with authority and resolve. Tech comrades, heed my instructions. The mayhem immediately subsides and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync, and the binaric clamor becomes a symphony of reports, which the Magos coordinates like a skilled conductor. Admirably done, Pascal. The Omnissiah guides me. The prayer of the tech priests surrounding the cogitator almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechadendrite towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. Okay. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits in the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle. That was a little weird, all as one word. The same as the gate of the warrant chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of a machine spirit propitiation. Senior technomats recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol. Omnissiah rejoice. I must inform you that for the purpose of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregated calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands. A minor deviation from the rite of operation, for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian, the cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. Let's do it. The metal jaws clamp down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath, releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the image on the vid screen before you changes. Connecting. Success registered. What does all this mean? At the sound of your voice, the cogitator's servant, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the cogitator housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position. Benevolent code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binaric signals and then is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me, initiating standard invocation of the machine's spirit. Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code, Jesus Christ, begins pouring forth from his vox. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sectant. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. One of the cogitator's vid screens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. Omnissiah, forgive me for that which I am about to sin against. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the cogitator's slots. Your head begins to spin from the Your head begins to spin from the holy censer's foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his hand, watching the vid screens. Suddenly he stops. No, that's not what you want to hear. His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command, his mechadendrites clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screens fill with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magus. What is happening? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flames and gives off a foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah's servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out, "The massive errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirits. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped." A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly. "Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils." The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information. Query. What query? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the binaric hymns and the tapping of command runes. Right. Right, yes. O hallowed machine spirit, in the name of the Omnissiah and the Emperor, reveal unto us your power and guard us against our doom. Pascal echoes your sentiment with the triumphant sounds of a binaric hymn. Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screens begin to stabilize one after another. The strings, frenetically galloping across the green background, are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest Vox crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and as clinical as ever. Registering, warp sextant activated. Registering data stream stabilizing. Registering 0 data errors found. Reporting the warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in the defiance of deactivation. Lord Captain, Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engines are up and raring to go. We're ready to begin the translation to the warp, your ladyship. The Lord Captain speaking. I give you the order to commence stable translation to the warp. Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne, Lady Captain. May the Emperor protect us. The Emperor protects.
Von Valencia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ships plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Man, it's just been one disaster after another around here.
Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orsilio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibundus system. The Lady Navigator and her pilot are waiting for your permission to begin the procedure. The Furibundus system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis Expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp and to allow the servants of the Omnisci to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of the Protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kivia Gamma.
Astropath, a powerful sanctioned psyker who can send and receive messages through space using their telepathic abilities.
Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible."
Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking with you as well, Ophelia. I will be leaving your void ship when we land on Footfall, Ophelia. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your ladyship, young Yvain Winterscale, has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality, not your hostility, and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection rite, this unit recovered data clusters within the captain's cogitators that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Ophelia von Valancius has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator, provided she possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Are you leaving us, Henrix? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no further. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Ophelia. I hope we meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard my ship. Henrix regards you with a curious look and a polite smile. An interrogator of the Inquisition seldom gets to hear such words. Thank you for your hospitality, Ophelia. I will not forget it. Argenta, who is Reverend Hieronymus who wishes to talk to me? He's the head of the Darusian mission on Footfall, and Darusian. Followers of the cult of Saint Darusus, a legendary hero of the Angevin Crusade who founded the Calixis sector for the Imperium of Man. He is the head of the Darusian mission on Footfall and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is good for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your void ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Vigdis, tell me about the system we're arriving in.
Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw. the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Cronus Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off-limits to outsiders.
Alter Templum Calixus Extension 17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. What do I need to know about Footfall?
It is the largest port and trading capital of the Cronus Expanse. It has a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the Void Ship, and boasts its own astropathic choir, the Cronus Expanse Communications Nexus.
Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Cronus Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but as long as Footfall serves the God Emperor, insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel for the Imperium. Although, I have heard that the tithes it sends are underwhelming, to say the least.
Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain Imperial law by virtue of the warrant they bear.
Footfall is just a brief stop. What next?
As soon as we solve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magina Sessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history, the moment your name graces the list of the heads of the Van Valancius dynasty. We are all looking forward to that day, Lord Captain.
Eblard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Fuck me. Vladium Tokara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation as a baptism of fire in the Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Tokara is the appointee of the Casbalica mission? The Footfall chapter of one of the most successful crime syndicates in the Imperium of Man. Nice, excellent. The largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calix sector. It's so weird that he said this when it's in this. Like, it's just repeated even though there was a note for it, pretty much. They specialize in the cold trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. The illegal trade of commodities and artifacts of Xenos origin. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several crime factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladium Tokara, whose appointment benefits not only the Casbalica, but also their most powerful ally in the Cronus Expanse, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladium is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Caspilican hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Caspilican barons crossed swords with the rogue traders and emerged victorious. Do not forget that and remain vigilant. The Casbalica. Vile tech thieves. Pascal's Vox barks at the last words like a profanity. Why does this liege want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wishes to meet with the rogue trader of the Van Valancius dynasty. Tokara does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must be very wrong on Footfall if our astropath managed to read such strong emotion in an anodyne message.
We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from Footfall Astropath Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately.
Tell the Lady Navigator I give her leave to make the translation from the warp to real space. Vigdis begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift into real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Vigdis turns to you again.
One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Takara will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony or choose to visit it incognito.
Tell me how these choices will benefit me.
According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the Liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs.
I shall explain if you do not mind. As per this unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions, but there is a catch. The Corona's Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their sphere of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing, necessarily. Old man Winterscale may take slight offense. Chorda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Coronis Expanse must not even have heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Van Valancia soars as high as ever. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness and burden of power, but right now is the last time you could take refuge in obscurity. This way your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I don't know. I think I'm just going to arrive officially.
It will be done, Lord Captain.
Vigdis bows again.
With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties.
Alright. Busy couple days. Let's go.
Lord Captain.
Raver's voice over the Vox sounds weary rather than annoyed.
I'm getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact they're not responding to our hails and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they are not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders to prepare for battle at your command.
Where did they come from? Why hadn't you noticed them sooner?
The rubbish of Furibundus, and I'm not talking about these wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, refuse from the shipyards. It all bunches together, and the smaller ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp.
Could this be the work of Conrad Voitiger?
The silence over the Vox lasts several seconds. It's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. On my orders, all stations ready for void combat. Let's go, Chapter 2, and we get to see what it's like. Wow. You've engaged the enemy in space combat. Battles in space and on the surface of planets work quite differently from one another. In space, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness. Acceleration zone, mid-movement zone, end movement zone. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once the ship has traversed this minimum required distance upon entering the end movement zone. To move, click left mouse button on any accessible tile on the battlefield. Crazy. Once you do, you'll see a hologram of the ship. Okay. Well, let's get in there. Should have hit him with a good offensive ramming maneuver, actually, but whatever. Your ship is equipped with an arsenal of weapons, which differ in terms of range of fire and offer a variety of ways to assault your opponents.
The ship can attack with each of its weapons once per turn. Note these can be fired as the ship moves, as attacking does not end the ship's movement. Each of the ship's weapons has a separate attack action on the panel in the bottom of the screen. You can click on an attack to fire its firing arc, consider the position on the battlefield, Select an attack, click on the enemy ship. Each turn you can use each of the ship's attacks once. Maneuver your ship in battle and attack with different enemy. Yeah. So what have we got? That's the other side, okay. Blast them. Amazing. What's this? Torpedo tubes. Ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to such an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. 2 shield arrays cover the ship's sides. One protects its bow and one its stern. When facing an enemy ship equipped with shields, choose your angle of attack wisely and direct your fire at a side where the shields are weakened or completely depleted. Note that enemies' shields recover each round. The Rogue Trader's flagship is likewise protected by shields. If the enemy attacks from a side where the shields are weakened or depleted, the ship will take damage. The flagship's damage shields do not recover at the start of the next turn. Instead, they can be restored by using the Restart Shields action at the panel at the bottom of the screen. Restarting the shields reduces the flagship's combat efficiency. On its next turn, it will have reduced speed and firing range. Well, this doesn't seem very fair. It's the side. Or at the front, rather. We cannot fully turn. Well, that was poorly thought out, but this is a new combat to me. All right. Nothing else can hit. Carry on. Mm-hmm. Oh! Easy. Okay. Well, turning is a bit of a process, huh? God damn. Okay. What's this? Flies in a straight line, making a full U-turn at the end of its movement. Oh. Is that so? Well, that was a pretty sudden turn right there. Oh, he's not... Life is so hard. Alright, restart shields. 5-turn cooldown? Oh my god. Okay. No problem. Alright, now... like so. So we can try and do the side. This is heartbreaking. To give it a turn. Great. Let's live to fight another day. Cowards. Oh my god, they're always just one out. What is that? What are you doing? Disengaging. Okay. Pure cowardice. Nothing else. Okay. Great. Well, you're not getting away that easy, brother. Nothing else, probably. Yeah. Alright. Alright, maybe they will get away that easy. Oh. Okay. What is this? Oh, Void Ship Ram, I see. Alright. Hit me with a U-turn. Great. Not what I expected that weapon to be. Didn't really think too deeply about it. Alright. Fine. Cowards. Ugh. Look how much of a swing you have to make, dude. God damn, it's a real process to get this done. Alright. So, let's get right up in there. Cool. Oh! Oh, well. There we go. You're not gone yet? Oh, there we go. Okay. Great! Enemy attacks can penetrate your shields and damage your ship's hull. This damage remains after the battle is over and must be repaired. Open the Void Ship Management screen, V, to make your repairs. Use scrap to repair your ship and restore its hull integrity. Scrap can be found while exploring star systems, collected after certain space battles, or purchased from merchants. Ah, there are merchants. Fantastic news. It would be very upsetting if the game was called Rogue Trader and I was not allowed to trade roguishly at some point. So. Oh, Christ. Upgrade RAM. Upgrade hull. Where's the repair? Is it upgrade? No, that's upgrade. How do you restore the hull then? Oh Christ. Oh God. So, Supreme Commander, Master Cannoneer, Expeditious Reload. Argenta has a higher number here. Skill required is Persuasion. Okay. Shield Master, naturally. Maneuvers, Seneschal. Warp Channeler. Well, what the fuck's that? Flow of the Immaterium causes an enemy ship to immediately turn 45 or 90 degrees, depending on the ship's maneuverability. So, Jesus Christ. Master of Etherics. Okay, I guess that'll be you. Spin around. Fantastic news. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Okay, how do I repair the hull? No, okay. It doesn't even... I didn't even realize something was equipped in that, to be honest. That looks like it's empty. Am I blind? Oh, this is repaired? This looks like background detail. Whatever, I guess that's my fault. But, like, this doesn't look like a button until you hover over it. I thought it was just, like, design. Whatever, that's my bad. Alright, let's not upgrade anything right now. Okay. Let's go to Footfall first. Seeing as, you know, that's where we've got, like, the most pressing stuff. We'll come back to all of this shortly. Your ladyship, something sinister is unfolding among the survivors from Rykard Minoris. There have already been several cases of evacuated refugees being found either dead or dying. All of them have been blinded using various means. I fear there is reason to believe that there were agents of the cult among the people who came on board. This was to be expected. It wasn't going to be a completely clean thing. I knew the anathema would not fully release its hold on those doleful souls just yet. Then let us march and drive it away. Give me a proper report on the refugees. How are they quartered? How are they supervised? The serfs and the planetary wardens were assigned to 2 auxiliary lower decks. The commoners are riled up and frightened by the calamities, so to keep their senselessness in check, we only assign those of sound mind to work and pump sedative gas through the ventilation into the compartments holding the rest. Of course, naturally. The venerated Praetor Electroid Dar Impulse VI and his retinue took refuge in one of the engineering bays, or more accurately, they barricaded themselves in. The wise servants of the Omnisire are fearful beyond measure that ignorant lay people might damage or offend their miraculous fusion reactor, so they cloistered themselves in their own personal fortress. I need to know more about the killings. 11 bodies have been found thus far. The first victim had their eyes burned out with a gas torch. The second had acid splashed in their face. The third was wandering around on their last legs with metal pins sticking out of their eye sockets. They died before we could interrogate them. The rest were killed and disfigured in similar ways through blinding. No traces of the killer's identity was found. Begin the interrogations. It will be done, your ladyship. If I may interject, there's no need. The interrogations have already been conducted. I put the enforcers on alert as soon as the first body was discovered, though I decided not to disturb your ladyship until I had the results. Well, now I do. We have already arrested, 4 perpetrators at the scenes of the crime that had yet to take place. Those are not murders, they're suicides. Explain yourself, Seneschal. The people we apprehended were about to blind themselves and end their own lives. I am confident that all who perished did the same. When questioned, they all said the same thing. They are haunted by the sight of the dying Rykad Minoris, even in their sleep. They still see the same horrific picture. So the sad wretches would do anything to make the nightmares stop. Now, add a triple dose of sedatives? Damn, dude, this sounds like a reward to me. Cleansing liturgies on the decks housing the refugees. Increased surveillance. If this is not the work of cultists, then I could not care less. Once they are off the ship, that will be that. Perform cleansing liturgies on the decks housing the refugees. We shall banish this blight with the strength of our faith. Certainly, Lord Captain, except I am afraid it is not just the refugees. 3 out of the 4 people we arrested were members of the crew. They watched Rykad Minoris die, and it left their minds scarred. We all bear the mark of that dark catastrophe, for it was the attention of the ruinous powers that branded our very souls. May the God Emperor have mercy on us. It's a good thing no Grey Knights were present, or they would have killed us just for having seen it. You were warned, your ladyship. It is regrettable that you did not listen. Look, I don't care. It was never going to be a clean process. I ain't leaving the innocent people to die, just because we're going to get a few cultists caught up in it all the same. Oh, of course, Henrix is leaving, isn't he? I was like, why is Idaria here suddenly? Right. Maybe this will be the first planet we go to where something disastrous is not actually currently happening. Will it happen? No doubt. But currently, maybe we can actually just sort of talk to some people? Wouldn't that be a novelty? There has been a lot of fighting so far, which I'm not bothered about because the combat's fine and all, but man, do you have to kill a lot of people in these fights. What a novelty. A peaceful landing site. Yes, thank you. The welcome procession is not particularly long, but it does attract attention. Everyone is dressed in their finest apparel, every button gleaming. Standing in front of the others is a woman with clearly expensive implants. She bows in a solemn curtsy. Rogue trader! Footfall welcomes you. On behalf of the Liege, Lord Vladium Tokara, allow me to express my joy at your arrival. The Liege awaits you at his residence, but should you have other business to conduct on the station, I will be honored to serve as your guide. Cassia's lips curl slightly. This is so familiar. Behind the amber-colored scatterings of words of welcome, far less appealing hues lurk, murky and diluted. The look of someone accustomed to lying and hiding their intentions. Idaria jerks her head, then shakes it, and hisses through her teeth. Someone's coming, and they're coming for us. Watch out, Lord Captain. Abelard sighs and casually places his hand on his weapons. Who's coming? Judging by the voices, there's a lot of them. Angry. They've got teeth. But they aren't that sharp. Their strength is their numbers. Pray, what are you talking about? What could you mean by such a cryptic She doesn't get to say the rest.
Hey, newcomer!
God damn it.
How's this for a warm welcome?
I should have known it was too good to be true. God damn it. Can I level Adaria up before this fight starts, though? God damn, what a fool I was to believe. Wait. No. Why can't I take anything here? I guess I can't level up. Never mind. Alright. This doesn't seem, I seem like I feel like I should be allowed to do it right now, but whatever. That's my bad, I suppose.
You should be able to do it this. Yeah, tell me that idea. Ideas? Battlefields are always surrounding Scarlet. I am navigator, not a scepter. Oh, yeah. Who's not?
Okay. The shivering young servant looks up at you with horror in his eyes. Emperor, protect me! They killed... Every time I warn them, and they go all, Dear Emperor, our Lord and Savior, how could this have happened? Who could have thought? Darius spits on the ground in annoyance. A gang of puny thugs attacked me. The Emperor's anointed rogue trader von Valancius. Such a poorly organized attempt on my life can be seen as a personal affront. I would wager that this was not an assassination attempt, but rather a common raid. The Athwits had no idea that they would run into you, Lord Captain. Still, it wouldn't hurt to be on our guard. The great have been known to fault pathetic. We can attest to that from recent experience. Abelard frowns and rubs the bridge of his nose as if fatigued. Your ladyship, those guys were... Anvers. They're a gang. They're the worst, I'm telling you. They're scared of no one, not even Liege Takara. He glances around like he's expecting more bandits to appear. Does this kind of thing happen often around here? Shootings, yes. Attacks on nobles, not very often. Unless it's the Anvers. They're vicious. Not a week goes by without them killing and gutting somebody. They're wicked heretics. They respect nothing. They follow no rules. Go and report this to the Liege. Yes, I'm sorry, your ladyship. I'll just go report to the Liege. They killed her. They killed my lady. Oh, this is terrible. Alright, well, let's level up Adaria. Before we do anything else, she already has all of those. God damn it.